which means it's time to run back a classic, peach cobbler pound cake. Now, I haven't made a peach cobbler pound cake in 4 years, so it's definitely time to run it back. I have a full recipe on here of how I used to make my peach cobbler pound cakes, but I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I feel like oftentimes bakers get pressured into creating your own recipes or taking a recipe and then making it your own. My personal opinions on that is it's perfectly okay to borrow someone else's recipe.
Okay.
There are so many talented bakers out there who have already crafted and perfected recipes. So I don't understand why we wouldn't use those. Maybe something's missing from that recipe, then yeah, by all means, tweak it, adjust it, do what you gotta do. But it's definitely not necessary. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today, making it easier on myself, easier on my business. I don't have to go through a lot of R&D, right, to create a completely new recipe. Instead, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna support my good sis, Grandbaby Cakes, and we about to make this bomb peach cobbler pound cake.
I do want to add that it can be hard to sift through so many recipes that are out there on the internet and know which ones you can trust and which ones you can't. I don't have the exact solution on how to know which recipes are trusted, but I can tell you that you can create your perfect recipe using AI. That's exactly how I created my dream cake recipes, and they are absolutely perfect for me because I was able to tell AI all the qualities I wanted in my cake, and it came through. My customers absolutely love my cakes, and hundreds of bakers who've purchased them for their own home bakery business love them too. I have a whole video and a blog telling you how I did it, so check those out and see if it could be an option for you too. But if you're not into that and just want a tried and true recipe, you can grab my dream cake recipes on my website, thestationbakery.com, and use them for your own cake business. Use code POUNDCAKE for 40% off my cake and buttercream recipes.
Someone commented on one of my videos that it was boring, and I completely understand that, but my goal when I make my videos is to give you a realistic look into what it's actually like to run a home bakery business. And oftentimes that means that it's not always glamorous, right? We're not always baking up a storm every single day. We're not always like doing all of these nice, fun, fancy things. Majority of the time, we're actually doing a lot of work on the back end, trying to market our business, trying to prepare for our business, trying to get our business more organized, right? There are a lot of mundane tasks that go into running a home bakery business. And I just want people to have a realistic view of what all it actually takes to run a cake business from your home. So that's why I add and I include some of those mundane clips, some of those mundane tasks. That's why I create videos around the mundane sometimes, because that is just the reality. Although they aren't the best parts or the most fun parts, they are very crucial and critical parts in order for our businesses to run well. And I just want people to be encouraged that if you're not always in your kitchen baking, you're not always decorating something, that's completely normal. Some days you're gonna have to spend hours working on admin tasks, and that's okay. That's all a part of running a home bakery business. So to those of you who say that parts of my videos can be boring or some of my videos in their entirety is boring, I say yeah. It is, because that's just the reality and the truth of running a cake business from home. And I hope that in my transparency, that these videos will help another baker along in their journey and give them the courage and the confidence to know that you're on the right path. It's not always gonna be fun in your business, and that's just what it is.
Usually I don't post, but I want the world to know. Time to pull a drop top out. Summer nights, it's a vibe, yeah. Keeping it in the house, Netflix and chilling, I GDM it, yeah.
This was my first time making an actual streusel, and the process was interesting to me. It's only made out of like 2 ingredients plus some spices, and it's super simple to make. I might start adding some new flavors with streusel in the future because I love it. This also reminds me of a crunch topping. I usually make my crunch toppings with crushed golden Oreos, butter, and Jell-O powder. But years ago, I tried the other way of making a crunch topping, and I think that version is just a streusel with Jell-O flavorings. So This kind of gives me so many ideas. But now we're getting into a part of the video that I love to talk about with y'all because it's really important and can make the world of a difference in your home bakery business. I'm a big fan of making the most out of your time and have systems to make your baking and making processes more efficient. I have most of everything prepped, and while my streusel is baking, I take that time to work on my cobbler filling. This way, I'm not wasting time sitting around while that streusel is baking. I'm basically doubling my time by working on various tasks at the same time. I'll also take this time to try to clean up a bit and start making my batter. I want my batter to be ready to go into the oven when my streusel comes out. Again, keeping production going and trying to minimize any down or lost time. Now let's get into baking this pound cake. I'm naturally a messy baker, but I've been working really hard to build up habits to keep my space clean while I work. It really does help my mind to focus better and makes it easier for me to be more efficient. However, sometimes it just gets away from me. It's usually when I'm trying something unfamiliar, like this cake recipe, or when I'm decorating. My creativity gets to flowing, and before I know it, I have a huge mess. I guess you could say it's the work of an artist, but I have made very little progress in that particular area. But one day, y'all are gonna be cheering for me because I'm going to get it. Has anyone else struggled in their journey to know what well-creamed butter and sugar should look like? I believe this is what it should look like when you cream your butter and sugar together. It should literally turn white and get super fluffy. This is when we can add in our eggs. And I've seen recently that adding in eggs one at a time was a myth, but I don't know how I feel about that. I haven't really tested it to see. I just kind of do my own thing, but I would love to know what y'all think. Do you think it really makes a difference when baking a cake, or you think it's fine? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, let me know, how do you determine if your batter is undermixed or overmixed versus mixed just right? So this recipe is so easy to make, and one of the reasons why I chose to make this one is because I saw her video on TikTok. And in her video, I'm able to see each step laid out so I can easily follow along, which is why I have it playing over and over and over next to me while I'm making this cake. The way the cake looked at the end and the way she incorporated the peaches into the batter was exactly what I was looking for. I'll have the link to her recipe down in the description, as well as a few of the supplies and things that I use in my business, plus my dream cake recipes. You know, everything that's been talked about in this video, I would do my best to link it down below. If for some reason you don't see what you're looking for, just leave me a comment and then I'll do my best to link that in the description for you as well. I forgot to restock on the Baker's Joy baking spray, and I threw out my Crisco, so I couldn't make the cake goop. So instead, I just decided to go with my usual of spray oil and flour in this 10-cup bundt pan. You know, hindsight, I wish that I would have gotten those sprays, but it just missed my grocery order list. I was really nervous about whether this was going to come out in one piece or not. You know, that's one of the big things with bundt cakes, like, can you get it to slide out perfectly? But I just went with it, and I hope for the best. I did realize though that making pound cakes of this size would not be efficient for my cake business because my oven can only fit one pan at a time, so that would be really hard to scale as something that would stay on my menu. Oh, and by the way, I don't think I mentioned this yet, but one of these cakes is for an order, and the others that I'm going to make are going to be for my family and I to enjoy. Now, y'all know that I always tell you about making the most of your time, but today there wasn't much for me to do while this cake baked. I mean, it was like an hour plus. So I cleaned my area and took some time to rest and grab a snack. Let me know in the comments below, bakers. Do y'all be eating on bake days? Because I know that's something that I'm really, really bad about. But once I get going, there's like no stopping. And I will literally starve myself the entire day until I'm done. And then I will eat. But let me know, what about y'all? Do y'all do the same thing? What are your tips and tricks for you to get yourself to actually take a break and eat? So once the first cake was almost done, that's when I started mixing my next round of batter, so they'll be ready to go in as soon as the other cake comes out the oven. Cake is out. I currently have it flipped. I don't know if I got video of it unflipped. Oh man, I don't think I got any footage. But the cake is out, y'all, and yeah. Here's a piece from it. So I get that to focus. Can't get it to focus, but y'all, this cake is good. I cut the top part off to make it flat on the bottom, and so these are the end pieces, and oh my goodness, it is so good. Yeah, like this cake is it, y'all. This cake is it. I don't know what else to say. I'm trying to hurry up and figure out what to say so I can eat the rest of this. But yeah. She said she is the queen of pound cakes. What she say? What the lady say? That lady said her followers call her the queen of pound cake. She is telling nothing but the truth. Because the way this pound cake tastes with them scraps, yeah, she's the queen. So glad that I went ahead and made another batch of it, because there was no way that I was gonna be able to make this cake for somebody else and send it out my door and us not have any. Oh, absolutely no way. I got our cakes in the oven right now. Got an hour or so to wait on it, but you know, we can be patient. We can be patient. We're gonna be patient. But I cannot wait until we can cut into this cake and enjoy it. And make sure that you continue watching, because I'm gonna break down the cost, how much it costs for me personally to make this pound cake. Right now, let me go babysit my other cakes, okay? Here it is, fresh out the pan. You can see my flour and oil mixture around here, but that's okay because we're gonna cover it up with our topping and everything. But as you can see, it came out whole in one piece, and that's all that matters. All right, here we go. We got round 2 out the oven. This is the size that I usually used to sell. This is my pound cakes out, so you can get a look of what they look like. Ooh, ooh. When I tell y'all this cake is good, I mean this cake is good. Now, I don't agree with the icing though. Maybe I'll have to try it again, but I wasn't a fan of it. So I made this cream cheese icing instead, and it was so good. The texture was a little funny looking because of the whipped cream cheese, but the taste was good. Unfortunately though, I don't remember what the recipe was. I used one from online as a guide, and I know that's like not helpful at all, but just choose a cream cheese recipe. Like, I don't think you can go wrong with it. Now for the actual cake order though, I made a cinnamon nutmeg glaze. And again, there's no recipe. I just eyeballed it and tasted it until it was okay. If y'all have any tried and true glaze recipes, drop them in the comments below. I want a thick white glaze, so if you know one, let us all know in the comments below. But y'all, this cake turned out so good. I'm gonna let y'all drool over it for a little bit, and then we'll get into the numbers.
good. That is good.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some numbers. This is my cake pricing calculator that I'll be using today. It will be linked in the description below for you if you're interested in it. I am currently here on my recipe cost tab. This is where we're going to build out our recipes to get the total cost of how much it costs us to make this cake. I'm using, again, grandbaby cakes recipe. So we need 1.5 cup of butter. So I just type this in here. Ingredient amount 8, that's 12 ounces. We need 2.5 cups of sugar. All right, next we have our eggs, and we need 6 of those. Cake flour, 3 cups cake flour. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 cup of sour cream, 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla extract. And that's what we have for our peach cobbler pound cake. Coming down here, we see that already cost us $9.30. 1 can of peaches, 1/3 cup of sugar, 3/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Oh, sorry, this is cinnamon. 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. You need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and then 2 tablespoons of butter. And that's it for our peach cobbler, which comes out to $5.46. And this is going to be 1/2 cup of flour, brown sugar, 1/4 cup, 1/4 cup of regular sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 cup of butter. Okay, and our streusel comes out to 80 cents. For our whipped cream cheese glaze, 4 ounces of cream cheese, 2 ounces of butter. Okay, powdered sugar is 1 cup, which is about 115 grams, a tablespoon of vanilla. And then I used some of the peach juice. So that's already factored in there with those peaches. So we don't need to add that in there. Okay, and this comes out to a total of $3.22. So now we're onto the sheet where I can build out my orders. Okay, so here I'm just gonna start building out the recipe, and then we'll have the cost. All right, so now let's go ahead and build out this peach cobbler pound cake to see how much it costs us all together. So we're gonna come here and we're gonna put in peach cobbler pound cake, and then we're going to add our peach cobbler, and then we're going to put in our streusel, and then let's add in our cream cheese glaze. And that brings us to a total of $18.78 just to make our peach cobbler pound cake. Now we know that there's also a board. It's a 10-inch cake board, and then we need a 10-inch cake box. Gotta put in the amounts, 1 of each of those, which adds on another $12. So altogether, this cake cost us $30.78 to make. I can go in and I can add my labor costs, like what I would pay myself from this. I can add in if there was delivery, the overhead, profit, taxes, processing fees. All of that stuff would be added in, and then it would spit me out a number down here for how much I should charge for the peach cobbler pound cakes.
All right, guys, it's time for me to go enjoy my slice of cake. So I'll see y'all in the next one. Until then, peace.